Spirits of the dead, spirits of the living, kindred, welcome to this ritual with Raga at its heart. This ritual is based on the crossbones rituals, which grew naturally over a 23-year magical work and in which Raga contributed a great deal. And so they're very appropriate because, of course, Crossbones is a graveyard, but it's a place that we found over the years of coming there that we came not only to honour the dead, but to honour the living, and indeed even the unborn. Indeed, perhaps particularly the unborn. Because consciousness is not hermetically sealed. We, on one level, yes, we're little packages of consciousness, little sparks in the dark, and we spark and then we're gone again. But in another sense, consciousness is a continuum. It flows through space and time. And every one of us here in this room is part of everyone else in the room in some mysterious and profound way. Far from being hermetically sealed, we're completely porous. Even just me speaking to you now and you hearing this voice, we're engaged in something that unites us in ways that we can never fully understand. So it's when we see each other, when we hear each other, when we touch each other, we're moving in spaces that we're mutually creating. And this is what we celebrate at Crossbones. We come to honour the outcast dead, the people actually buried in the Crossbones graveyard. But also, as over the years as we've come, and more of our friends are now on the other side, we honour them too. And we honour all sex workers, all outsiders especially. That doesn't mean we exclude anyone. Indeed, the most controversial thing we ever did at Crossbones was when Margaret Thatcher died and everybody was going around the streets happily singing Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. We actually had a moment where we honoured Margaret Thatcher just as a human being. Whatever she did, however we hate her politics. Because in a sense, if a place is to be unconditional and really embrace everybody, we can't be selective. And this is at the heart of our work, and Raga understands this. I mean, I think you hated her policies as much as I did.
Absolutely.
But we saw this need to move through, and this is what we're doing here in this. And so the first thing we do in our Crossbones ritual is we hold the light. We light the open pathways because we're not a religion. You can be a Christian or a pagan, a Buddhist, a Hindu, or an atheist. Or best of all, an agnostic, someone who doesn't know. They're so rare these days, people who don't know. So agnostics definitely welcome in these rituals. But we hold a light. It's something we all understand. We don't need to believe anything to understand when we hold a light. We are, in a sense, being this little spark in the dark that each of us are. Raga, would you hold the light? Or Hafiz, would you hold the light with Raga? Raga's holding the water, you're holding the fire, and we're going to have
We two are old friends that go way, way back, longer than anyone knows here. Because I found in Hafiz that he was a fellow pilgrim to Pune. And we hadn't even known each other, but we rediscovered ourselves somehow. Where was it when I discovered that you were a Punerite? I don't know. It's been a bit of time. But it meant that in some way we were sisters and brothers, or a sister and a brother, searching together, searching deeply. That was what going to Pune meant at that time.
That's right.
Dear friends, thank you. Thank you.
hold the light.
So many things he's done in Oxford to do with food and nourishment and sharing. Thank you.
So let's just now enter ritual space. in a very gentle way. So we're holding this light in our heart. In many rituals, of course, people like to call in the 4 directions and the 4 elements. And I think in a very simple way, just to prepare ourselves, let's think of ourselves embodying those 4 elements.
What do you mean?
Well, there's earth, water, fire and air. So let's say earth. We're going to imagine our feet really planted. I know we're on the 1st floor, but we're going to sink roots down through, right down to the basement and then into the earth. Can you imagine lots of little hairs and roots growing out of the soles of your feet, Raga?
Okay.
Just an act of imagination. Send those roots down into the earth so that you feel you're like a tree, really well planted in this earth. We're well rooted, although we can always bend with the wind, but we're still quite light. And there we have the earth element. And we're holding a fire element. And I'm not going to ask Hafiz to shake, but the rest of you might like to give a very little shake, just to awaken the fire. And if you're bursting to make a sound with me. Fire. And then perhaps some water. Water.
Oh, I'm water.
Oh, hold up the water, Raga.
This is
And the rest of us.
spring water.
This is indeed. It's about 3 parts white spring and 1 part red spring. So it is the admixture.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And we will be sprinkling, or you will, before long.
Okay.
We hope, or designating someone to.
Okay. Maybe we can. I don't know. We don't know what we're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that it's powerful. And the reason that I went to Glastonbury was to meet people of depth, because there's something going on in there, in that place called Glastonbury, that all of us need to know about and to appreciate and to touch in on. So join us anytime you want for a ritual in Glastonbury. We must do more stuff, and maybe find places in Oxford which we know are holding the spirit of our ancestors and future generations at the same time.
Has Oxford got the spring near it that is Isis,
Who
the
knows?
beginning of
Yes.
the Thames?
Yes.
Yes. So
Where
it's
do we go
fountain.
for the spring?
I'm not sure. Cirencester, is it? It's very well hidden. It's very hard to find the source of the Thames, but it's near Oxford.
Somebody
The
said
Isis.
behind me it's beyond Cirencester. How do we find it?
Follow the
Very
river.
small place.
We'll follow the river.
Let's take an expedition to find it. Let's organise that, and many of us go together in a beautiful way.
So in all these lovely conversations, let's also stay in ritual space so that we hear everything. We don't need to silence anything because it's all just arising and falling in us. So the water in us, if we plunge in a swimming pool, you know how the water just pushes your hands up and then you have to push down a bit. Why don't we all do that a bit? You don't have to, Raga. Oh, you can. Oh, look, you can. You water. So let the water push you up.
Like Tai Chi.
It is actually a Tai Chi movement, but it's easiest to imagine it. In fact, in Tai Chi, they do what they call very soft hands. So as you come up, the hands are completely empty, the water pushes them up, and then you have to use the tiniest bit of pressure to push them down. There's another Tai Chi movement, actually, which will do very well for air. It's my favourite one, of course, which is wild goose flies. So just, lovely, just as you breathe in, out. And all the time we're doing this, let's just observe sensations in our bodies. We are the embodiment of these elements. We embody them for this moment in eternity. And now all of those things, the earth, the water, the fire and air, all within us, but they all coexist beautifully in shining emptiness, because it is the emptiness that is the most often forgotten part of our lives. We're so keen to fill everything with noise and image And words, and I know this as a writer, sometimes we need silence and emptiness, and just letting my voice sound in it, in your minds, but nothing there to obstruct anything. And so anything we're feeling, any sensation, anything we're hearing, anything we're seeing, is all here in shining emptiness. And it's in that shining emptiness that the light in each of our hearts lights up the open pathways. And that's in our own minds, the pathways, the neural pathways to allow us to transform, and also the pathways that connect us all together here. And this sense that we're not separate. In shining emptiness, the light shines to light the open pathways for all beings to fulfill their most intimate aspirations. Let's just stand in silence for a few moments now. When we do this at the gates of Crossbones, we're right in the heart of London, South London. There's a railway track with trains rumbling. There are cars around there. There are people drunk, shouting or singing. All kinds of stuff's happening. And it's so beautiful just to stand in a shining emptiness that allows it all to happen without actually trying to stop it or interfere with it, but just letting it be. Letting us all be what we are fully in this moment. So that's the first part of this simple ritual, which is opening the pathways, lighting the open pathways. For the second part, and this is very connected with our relationships of life and death, Katie's going to now start handing out some ribbons. And we do this always at the Crossbones, which is our binding and loosing ritual. In the Christianity, Jesus uses the term to binding and loosing, and it's often used, the priesthood then took that on themselves as that what they'd inherited. But if what we think about that perhaps in alchemical terms, that's what all of life is. It's an in-breath and an out-breath. It's a male and a female. It's an energy that's doing a dance within us. And all these things are within us. The dark and the light, the male and the female, the energy and the peace, the silence.
The inner and the outer.
The inner and the outer, exactly. And these things can all be harmonized in this state. And so what we do with the binding and loosing is we simultaneously bind and loose. And what we're doing with both is, on the one hand, we're giving away all our own grief, our losses, our sadness. We've all lost people, and we've all had our hearts broken at times in our lives. And it's good to honour that. And at the same time, I'll have an orange. I don't want a yellow. Yeah. And so at the same time as releasing our grief and sorrow, we also release our joy into the world, the things we would wish for ourselves, and allow them also to be wishes for one another. Bearing in mind that we don't all want exactly the same thing.
And we're not going to get it anyway.
We're not going to get it anyway. So let's wish. It's a good joke because Crossbones isn't about people or this ritual or this practice that I'm talking about. It's not about perfection. Actually, we're not trying to become perfect. We're in a way celebrating the fact we're imperfect. Because out of imperfection, out of brokenness, comes possibilities of change And this is what your life's very much about, Raga, I think, and it's something
Being a
we honour.
chancer.
Being a chancer, yeah, winging it.
Right, we-
Yeah, winging it. So, we're all starting to have our ribbons. Let's hold them for a moment and let's wish, as I say, think what we would really wish for ourselves. Maybe not even what we want, but what we need to live a strong, fulfilled life. And then when we've got that, let's in a way invest the ribbon with that thought. And at the same time as we're doing that, maybe be thinking of each other and thinking something of that wish I would really wish for all humanity. And maybe we can focus that wish by wishing it for Raga as well in this moment, at the heart of our ceremony. And so let's just
Can
hold.
I just say, just so that people are clear about this, this ritual is to do with my own death and my anticipation of death and my willingness to move into death. I don't know how I will do that, nobody ever knows, but death is our ultimate destination. And let us honour that knowledge within us in a way that enables us to connect. We're all going there. We're all going to die. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful to know? And some cultures have managed to retain that and hold it and keep it sacred. But we have work to do here in the so-called West. I don't know why we've got special work, but we have, I feel. I don't know why.
I think we've tried to shut it out of our lives. And by when you shut out the death part of life, you also shut out a lot of the life too, because it's part of the whole journey. And the dream of eternal youth and immortality, enticing though it is a very deceptive dream, I believe. And you bravely, Raga, we don't want to see you go yet. I mean, I'm on my way too, and a lot of our friends are already on the other side.
Yes, that's true. Many people have gone before us.
Yes.
It's going to be a jolly good party up
It was a great party already. That's the trouble, it gets noisier, doesn't it? As you get older.
But death is one of the few things that connects us all.
Indeed.
Everybody will die. Rich, poor, male, female, black, white, green, yellow, purple. The one thing that connects all humanity is that our time here is brief.
And we're in the west, which I think is the setting of the sun. I've got this upside down. It's setting. The sun is dying, as it were, each night, and it rises up again. And I think some of the spirits that have gone on ahead of us are sending back help and support and energy to our cause. And so let's make an offering to that cause. Think about what it is we're offering.
That's wonderful. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, it's
Can,
good.
can I also add, I've got a chance to get in here, this ritual is something to do with healing our sexuality and our fear of what it is to be a sexual creature. No, we can go beyond embarrassment because we've somehow managed to make ourselves embarrassing to ourselves. And we've got to figure that out with lots of love and compassion. Compassion for each one of us and for everything that procreates and doesn't understand why.
Raga, was it you and I in a cafe sat down talking about orgasm? And I don't mean as that sort of transcendent goal, well it is actually, but the goal that everybody thinks they should have an orgasm, but it isn't that at all. It's when we really unite with the rest of the atmosphere and the whole universe becomes atomic. And we are just little tiny atoms, smithereens, scattered into light and love. And there's nothing left of us. Our bodies have gone, completely gone. We're just diffused with light and love. And that's what an orgasm to me is. I think I can remember that. I think I had them. But it was amazing to be just so completely blown. And that meant letting go completely.
Thank you. There's so much healing to do for all of us. We need to get in there and help one another connect with this longing for healing and confusion. Bless you
So all of these thoughts that we've just shared, let's invest them in our ribbons. And now we're going to do a simple act of binding and loosing. And in fact, we're going to do it here against this. This is a representation. Steve, would you mind stepping round just for a minute so I can show everybody clearly? And it actually even, yes, if you don't mind, Charlene, because I'm going to try and persuade about 3 at a time, if we can, to come up and tie the ribbons. And we'll do this whisper or echo chant or prayer, which I'll lead you in, as we say it. And we'll do it as many times as we need to. I just want to say, as we do it, what we do is very simply come up here, find a place, and tie the ribbon. We don't need to do a massive thing. We can just tie it once or twice. Very simple. And ideally without rushing you, but try and keep it that it's about 3 of us at a time doing it, because there's probably enough to keep us going for 30 minutes. And it's a very simple thing. So I'll start it. Katie knows it, Raga knows it, you'll echo me. And the idea of the echo is, it's not like call and response. We end the ceremony with a call and response, but this is the echo. So as you hear words, you can use them, especially if they resonate with you particularly. Is everybody happy with that? Mm-hmm. And please don't be English when I start. Somebody step forward fairly fast and help tie ribbons, and then let's keep it moving as we do it. Everybody up for this?
Yes.
Oh, with the bottle and with the... Thank you, Hafiz. Because, yes, I'll put this here, so just be aware of that, so we don't go kicking over lights. And there's a drum here. There's also some gin here. A very small gin.
How if somebody beats the drum, it's the heart of life. Can the drum be involved?
The drum can be involved.
Yes.
Let me think where, though. I think it's best to first get everybody doing this, if that's all right with you.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
In your hands.
we're all in the hands of shining emptiness. So, I'm going to lead you, but please join in with the echoes. And you're going to do this with me, or are we going to put them...
I don't know.
Do you want them all put on you? We could tie them all on you. Wow. If you want them all tied on you.
There are no Satanists, they all
We're making you then into an icon. Do you want to be an icon?
That's really appointed.
Aha.
What do I do in the meantime?
So those who
Tie
didn't...
your ribbon?
Can you say that nice and loud to everyone?
So we're going to tie the ribbons over here, as John said. This was created, it's part of a big piece that was created for a production of Southwark Mysteries in Southwark Cathedral.
Where they were married.
Yes, where we were married.
And Charmian asked me to mention that originally the Southwark Mysteries was performed in Shakespeare's Globe
Yes.
and Southwark
And
Cathedral
Southwark Cathedral.
on Easter Sunday,
23rd.
the 23rd of April 2023, magic goose number. And there was actually, you were there, weren't you, Raga? You were causing trouble in the crowd, yes? And there was a huge thunderstorm just before, and people came up to me because the play was considered slightly dodgy. It did upset fundamentalist Christians.
Back then, yeah.
Not too many, but when there was a thunderstorm, a few...
Dildo that did it, wasn't it?
It was the dildo, yeah. Satan did wear a very large strap-on. But yeah, exactly. Well, it played by Jacqueline Haig, I hasten to add. Jacqueline, no, she sends love.
Oh,
She sends
and
love.
who is the wonderful person that might not be alive now, who was Jesus?
Oh, he was alive then, Roddy. Roddy's still alive. His brother's dead, but
Oh, it's his brother.
Roddy's
Okay.
still with us.
I'll never forget Roddy and the bike.
Okay, I will tell you very briefly, because we are diverting. Oh yes, sorry,
So
darling.
normally we're writing the names of our loved, lost people that need help, maybe. Today, even if you haven't written on it, you're sort of imbuing a message to Raga into this ribbon that we'll tie on there, and afterwards we'll gift this piece of work to Raga for this auspicious day.
Yes. What did you call me a piece of work?
We have, others have.
Okay, so I think we've got that. And we're about to carry on with the ritual. I won't delay you too much, but I do have to just tell you about Christ on a Bike. This was Roddy McDevitt, who played Jesus. He was a very wild Irish actor. He's perfect for our Jesus, who was meant to be the Son of Man in the street. And Roddy came in on this bike, carried it up on stage, propped it down on the stage of the Globe, was about to sort of walk away, and then he spotted all the clergy in one section of the audience.
And there were lots of them all draped.
All draped up, gave them a real look, and then locked his bike.
Yes.
So that was our Jesus, and
You weren't going nowhere.
so now we're going to do this, and all join in, and please follow and echo like this. Here lay your hearts, here lay your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums, here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here your flowers, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries, your locks, your self. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries.
Here lay your heart, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers,
your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, flowers, your book of hours, fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. mysteries. Here lay your heart.
Here lay your heart, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your behind your hope, behind your hope, your might to be, your loves, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your heart, your flowers, your book of hours.
No, but I know
Your misty smile.
Well, also, this land has been highlighted by museums as well. We decolonialise the narrative.
I've seen your name on Facebook.
Your keys. Here lay your heart. Your flowers.
You speak out.
Yeah, totally. Wednesday nights.
Right, take it over.
Would you like it to clear a space for you?
I'm waiting there's not so many.
Okay, yeah, no, there's mostly.
I don't want to run anybody's toes over.
Just people standing
Yeah,
in the way.
if you could, that'd be great. Thank you.
Your keys, your mystery. Here lay your heart. Here lay your heart. Your flowers. Your book of hours. Your fingers.
And you hold the camera.
Misty mom.
Do I need to press anything?
No, it's just filming.
Yep.
It's filming.
Your dreams.
Yep.
Your mighty dreams.
Your locks.
Your love.
Your keys.
Your keys.
Your mysteries.
Your mysteries.
Here lay your hearts. Your flowers. Your
Can you see
fingers.
that?
Your thumbs.
Yep. Move it down.
Your
Move
mysteries.
you around.
Here hang your hopes.
Your dreams.
Your might
What
of
you've
being.
been.
Your locks. Your keys.
Your mysteries.
Here lay your heart.
Heart.
Your flowers. Your book of hours. Your fingers. Your thumbs. Your misty bums. Here hang your hopes. Your dreams. Your might of being. Your locks. Your keys. Your mysteries. Here lay your hearts. Your flowers. Your book of hours. Your fingers.
Your fingers. Your thumbs. Your misty mom.
Here hang your
Your hope.
dreams.
Your dreams.
Your might
Your
of
might of being.
your locks.
Your locks.
Your keys.
Your keys.
Your mystery.
Your mystery.
What they're doing now,
Your meow.
Oh yes.
No, I did the first.
Listen, guys, I've just discovered something. There's a beautiful person that we've done lots of work together, and he's a boatman. And that is symbolic of my death. And I long for such a boatman to be there to help me go to the Styx. Is that what it is?
Hi, Ross.
Across the Styx. Okay, just know that you're very welcome to carry on this ritual and use my body in whatever way. This young man, who's looking at me in a very blessingful way, I listened to his poetry when I first got to know him, and he so inspired me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Raga, may we have you in this next part of the ceremony with your water. You can either do this yourself or you can designate
I
someone.
think I should designate.
Who do you want to designate?
Who would like to be designated? As,
I think it's your choice, your caprice.
my son, Gavin.
Gavin, would you, however you do this, you could just tip a bit on, but go and scatter it. It's holy water, yeah. Try not to chuck the whole bottle. It's starting with your mum. Yeah, just dip it. You know.
Can everyone get this, what we're
So
doing?
Gavin is now going to
He's my
scatter.
son. He's my fucking son.
That's it. You've wanted to do that for a long time.
I've done that for a long time.
You can do it to the rest of us.
And there's one or two more.
There's one or two more.
One or two more sons.
Just watch your camera there. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gavin. So Gavin is scattering Glastonbury spring water. This was a special request of Raga. In fact, I walked all the way to the White Spring. And it was a pilgrimage. And it's 3 parts white spring water and 1 part red. The red, of course, is rich in iron, so it's very powerful.
Yeah.
You have to use it in moderation, though.
It's a pink water.
It's a pink water. Pink water.
Why simply water and not lemonade?
Why water and not lemonade?
Have you adopted this from Christianity?
Water, oh, I don't
Don't
think
exactly call
Christianity.
it water.
No, water went way back before Christianity. I think.
Yeah, water was sacred before Christianity.
Water is our most sacred.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
so sad.
All the water.
It hasn't stopped us.
Thank you for the product of Raga's Holy Cunt.
I'm going to go around the outside as well. I go around the outside.
Yes, say them as you scatter it.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Femi.
Femi.
Yeah.
Femi is going to tell us about water, please.
Water is life. Water is lyrical. Hate to tell you I'm getting kind of cynical. H2O makes up most of my body, but I'm sweet, so I'd cordial to each and every syllable. Robinson's fruit juice in my childhood. Vim told me to go down to the river, so I washed him away. Drink water every day, play with the waves, wait till they break on your face. Oh, I'll manage to survive. Each drop of atmosphere that doesn't get destroyed somehow presents another life. Significant spillage on the side. Reservoirs of waste waste away, the drain will not run dry. Water is life, without it you die. Let's keep on living, survive. Water is life, water is living. It's past its pH levels and it celebrates by drinking. Sparkling with energy but still, till it's had its fill, runs coolly to the river just to chill. I lost my bottle, I lost the lid. I poured my souls out with the prophets I poured my souls out with the waves like the prophets did. It came out in 3 parts, only one was oxygen. Breathing starts to stop again. Under the water and immersed, things are getting worse till I quench the water with my thirst.
Like your kind of father, fella.